Hey, Drippy gang. I'm gonna talk about Qualcomm a little bit. Gonna be a fast one, but with a lot of facts. So stay tuned. So first, let's look at today's flow. This is 14th of December, and you can see how bearish the flow is. This is 50,000 minimum premium. Um, sorted by the premium, out of money only, and today's trades only. And then when you look at that, look at this chart, it's 90% bearish, right? A lot of bid side activity going on. Um, Another thing to notice is that these are 18th of February 2022, the most bearish calls, and the strikes targeted are 195. So these actually is, so if you look at the current price of the stock is 181. So what does that mean? That these calls are being sold for 195. And another thing to notice is that if you go back to the order, you see this 155 put for 181K. So that's a big order for 18th of March 2022. So first thing to notice is the flow. Now, another thing I want to talk about is that it's just not about the flow for Qualcomm. Um, the chart I will talk about later, but the most important factor I want to talk about is this news. Chinese smartphone maker Oppo unveils self-developed chips for phones. So let's look at this news first. It will be manufactured using TSM manufacturing. Oppo is one of China's top phone brands. Qualcomm is actually making chips for them, occupying 21% of the domestic market. And both firms are investing heavily in the chip sector. You can read the whole news, power management chip as well. And then finally, they talk about the measures cripple the companies. So initially, the news is like need for a self-sufficient chip industry came to light last year. So actually, there was news in October as well about their plans. And then now they're talking about that could rival those of Qualcomm, and that's interesting, right? So let's look at Qualcomm's revenue for 2021 and where the worldwide revenue is, and look at where the worldwide revenue comes from. China, including Hong Kong. That's majority of the Qualcomm revenue. So if Oppo or OnePlus decides to stop business with Qualcomm and go with their own chips, this news might break out. And I don't know when this news will break out. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's a real possibility. And that 21% of the business could be taken away from Qualcomm. That's a huge number in terms of dollars. So now let's look at the chart first of all. I know a lot of people are bullish on it, and at first glance, I was also bullish on it because it's a power earnings gap up, and it's kind of like a bull flag, but also making a wedge, right, ascending wedge pattern. But let's go and look at the RSI, and you can see here clearly that RSI is actually decreasing. So this is um, higher, a lower high on RSI, and then higher high on the price here. So that in itself is a bearish divergence, first of all, on the daily chart. And the sell-off on the other day was on a relatively higher volume, and also the momentum is dying, and now it's kind of like in a squeeze. So we might see some kind of chop going on. It might even retest this area again, but look, it's also kind of triple top formation here. It's unable to close the price above 187 on a daily chart. um, Another thing to notice is that on the monthly it's also there is a huge divergence setting up here. This is higher RSI and this is lower. But monthly divergences take a while to plan out, so it's not necessary that that's not really a bear case in my opinion. And then finally, I want to talk about is the other TA elements. So this resistance, this is the third touch on this trend line, and you see how it's been getting rejected at this area, this fib level. So I drew these fibs from um, like this low trend base fib extension basically. So this low, this high, and then this pullback. So, and if you see it's getting rejected at 190, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, which is not a good sign. And it's been a while since the earnings as well, like pretty much 5, 6 weeks. So I know they have price upgrades, so you have to be cautious with this one. But just looking at this news, now some of you might be like, okay, well, this news seems like it's priced in already because it was released 20 hours back. But keep in mind that this week is quad witching. And what that means is that market makers will try to pinch the price between certain levels. So I don't know if the move will happen this week. It might not. That's why I'm saying that it might create a new high and that would be a good short opportunity. So let's observe if it chip chops. But yeah, I think the move might happen next week, but I'll keep this in watch list every day. So, and then let's evaluate. If it creates a new high and breaks through this trend line, that is actually really bullish sign. So we can play to the upside as well. But right now, and you see how these EMAs it curled first time and then it jumped back up and then now it's curling back down again, this leading EMA, which is so extended from this trailing EMA. Another thing to notice is that Qualcomm kind of does this double top pattern. It had this double top pattern as well, and then it broke down. Same EMA pattern. So nothing too significant. I was just kind of trying to find patterns. But so keeping these factors in mind, just the flow, and the flow might change tomorrow or something might happen. But right now, I'm leaning bearish on Qualcomm going into the next couple of weeks, but not jumping into any position. We'll let price action confirm how things go. Anyway, please like and subscribe. Have a good night. Bye.